Hello guys, welcome to another video. I hope you're all doing great. So today we are going to be talking about something very interesting. We are going to be talking about programming languages. And so you might be asking yourself, what is a programming language and why should I care about it? So if you are definitely watching this video, then you should care about programming languages. So basically, programming languages are the innovation and softwares, applications and everything that has to do with digital electronics today goes through a programming language. So you definitely have a smartphone, you definitely have a smart TV, you definitely use a computer, and all of those devices are able to work thanks to programming languages. And so what the programming language does, it's that it translates our English language into computer language. So a computer doesn't speak English, obviously. A computer doesn't know hello, hi, and all those words. We are the ones who know them because we speak English and different other languages all across the world. So a computer understands only a language which is like this, zeros and ones. So basically we needed something to be able to tell the computer what we meant. So we developed this system or this kind of language which permits us, we develop these systems which permit us to translate our English language into a computer language, and that's essentially what a programming language does. And so there is a vast array of programming languages and they are used in different contexts. And so we are going to look rapidly at the different programming languages and what they do. So I just appreciate this image because it gives you kind of a comprehensive explanation of what a programming language is all about. So it converts English language into computer language. And so we have now different electronics, we have different devices which come in different forms, shapes and sizes. And so we needed multiple different programming languages in order to address all these different electronics. So let's have a look a little at the different programming languages out there. So there are so many of them and they needed to be classified in one way or the other. And so here's just some classification of the different programming languages. Keep in mind that there are many other classifications. So you have high level, low level, declarative, imperative, procedural, general purpose, domain specific, object oriented, concurrent, command, compiled, script language, and many others. So here you can just have a quick overview of the different programming languages, which is still not an exhaustive list. So you can already see how many are there. So there's quite a good number of them out there. So here are some programming languages, for example, which are used to develop applications and program development, software development. So here are some of those languages which are used to do so. You have some languages which are used equally to do perform artificial development. Here are some languages which are used to perform artificial intelligence development. You have other languages which are used to develop databases. You have some game development programming languages, and you have other languages which are used in different others. So for example, you have a computer which uses softwares, so it's definitely going to need a programming language which is geared around developing softwares. You also have now smartphones and you have the internet, and on that internet it uses its own programming language. The programming language is used to communicate with your devices, your internet connected devices and servers. So that's what that language permits you to do. So sometimes you can use the same languages to develop across different types of devices, but most times each device has the best programming language which is suited for its development. And so you have equally script development languages and many others. So the list is not exhaustive and we won't be able to go through all of them right here, but I just want us to look at some classifications of the different programming languages so you should have an idea of what they are all about. And so if you come down here, for example, let's see the 5 major types of programming languages. So you first have procedural programming languages. You have C, C++, Java, Pascal, Basic, and so on and so forth. So we will look in a moment what all these languages are used for. So you also have functional programming languages, Scala, Erlang, Haskell, Elixir, and F Sharp. Then you continue, you have object-oriented programming languages, Java, Python, PHP, C++, Ruby. And so all of these are just the way in which the programs work, the way in which the programming languages work. That's why they have all these classifications. So it's just referring to how they operate. So when you say procedural, it means that it is coded in a certain way. Functional, it uses some functional. When you say functional, it means it operates functional programming languages, object-oriented programming languages, scripting languages, logic programming languages, and others. And so you have front end versus back end languages as well for web development, for example. And so some of these languages that we saw prior are used to develop software applications for computers. And now we also have another category of programming languages which are used for web development. So you have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and many others. And you have them classified as front end and back end. And basically, when you say front end, it means what you see in front of you on the website. Whenever you go to the website, what you see in front, like this website, what you see all around, all this design, all these elements are created with front end are created with front-end programming languages. Now at the back end, at the level of the database, at the level of the servers where the websites are found, you have different programming languages that are going to be used. And so here is just some classification of the different types of programming languages. You have high level, low level, interpreted versus compiled. And so it has really a lot of categorization that goes into different programming languages. So now you might be asking yourself, okay, so what does each programming language do? Where do you use each programming language, and really what does it specialize in? And so let's continue in our video. We are going to see now, we can't go through all of the languages, so we are just going to see the 11 most in demand programming languages. So today, keep in mind that we have computers, we have smartphones, and so let's focus on those two devices for example for now. So for example, you have JavaScript, which is high in demand right now, and so you can see here what it is used for. It's used for web development, it's used for game development, mobile apps, and building web servers. So already from here, you can identify the devices in which you are going to find JavaScript. You can find JavaScript on your smartphones, on your PCs, because they all have internet browsers. You have JavaScript on game development, which means you're going to find JavaScript on your consoles. You have mobile apps, which means you're going to find JavaScript in your smartphone. You have for building web servers, so equally as well on servers, you're going to find some JavaScript. So now you move on to Python. It's used for back-end development on servers, data science, and app development. So you're going to find it not only on your smartphones, on your servers, and on your computers, but you're equally going to find it on some dedicated devices used for data science and all the AI kind of thing. So that's what Python is used for. And so when you continue, you have now HTML. For example, HTML is used for web documents, website development, website maintenance. It's used to create the whole website. So you are not going to use necessarily HTML to develop software, for example, for a computer, even though it's starting to innovate in that area, but it's essentially going to be used a lot in the browser and on servers. And so if you continue now, moving on to the next, we have CSS, which is also used in accordance with, or it's also used conjointly with HTML. So it's used to develop websites. And you have now Java, which is very much a cross-platform, a cross-boundaries programming language, and it's used virtually everywhere for developing apps, for developing websites, for developing software, and many other things. So it's really multi-platform programming language. And so now you continue, you have SQL now, which is a database, more like programming language. So it's used for database management, sales, business management, and so on and so forth. So you have NoSQL, which is also another type of database programming language. And so you're going to find it in all of these places. And so if you continue, you have now C#, which is used for game development, desktop, web, and mobile apps, VR, and so on and so forth. So now you are kind of seeing already what each programming language does, where each programming language is found, and really on what is and really where it specializes. And so there are tons and tons of programming languages out there. Depending on what you are trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, you want to choose a specific programming language, learn how it works, and really put it to good use. So this modern day, you have all sorts of devices, you have smartphones, you have computers, and so on and so forth. So each computer, each device has its programming language, which is going to be used to convert your natural speaking language into a computer understandable language. So depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to build apps, there's a language for that, Java. If you're trying to build website, there's a language for that, HTML and CSS. If you're trying to build computer softwares, there's also a language for that. And so you just have to learn all of these, and it's going to permit you to build those pieces of softwares for those different devices. So obviously this is not a comprehensive introduction to programming languages, but this shows you already and it gives you an idea of what each programming language is used for. So I encourage you to check out all the programming languages, discover the most popular ones, and see the trends and how they have been changing with time. And it's a wonderful world, and hopefully you learn how to program, and hopefully you start building some wonderful pieces of software out there. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you on the next one.